going on? Welcome back to Alcohol Content. You got the best alcohol podcast around. It's another one. But before we get into what we're drinking, who we drinking with? We got Ryan.
In this pod like a group of whales.
Oh, yeah, my boy.
Wow.
That's our podcast theme song. We got Rick.
He's a little calf. He's a little calf. It's like, cheers.
Yep. We got me, Austin, and
Big Beluga, Austin.
Big Beluga, Austin. That's what they call me. We got some left field. Some weird.
For us.
I went to the alcohol store, as they call it, and I
Nobody
saw
calls it that.
something that was pretty much half off.
Discoed.
It was like, let's get this out of here. No one's buying it. So I started drooling because, cheap whiskey. It's just what I do. I get excited. And I just happened to notice that it's Swedish single malt whiskey. Now, folks, I'm looking at you. You're looking at me. What the hell? Swedish single malt? Boys, I know, Rick, you got the deets on this. What's going on here?
I'm super excited. I don't have a lot of deets on it, but I'm telling you, I don't believe I've had a Swedish single malt at all. And this is 96 proof. I love my geography. It is on the Baltic Ocean, but it's about the same latitude as southern Iceland.
Whoa.
So when I looked up the distillery, there's a lot of snowmobile tours.
Nice. That's awesome.
I think it's also worth mentioning that when you first said that you picked up this bottle,
No.
You were like, hey guys, I have a fun Swiss whiskey for us to try.
Did you say Swiss?
No, I didn't.
It was like, oh, interesting, a Swiss whiskey.
A Swiss
cool.
whiskey.
Yeah.
Then he shows up, it's like, oh, you mean Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah.
Which
Your geography skills coming in hot.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm super excited because this is, and I mentioned 96 proof. It's a little over 6 years, matured 6 years. But here's what they do. It's in 40 first they put it for about 6 months in 40-liter casks, 3 different types of casks, American oak, Hungarian oak, and then Swedish oak. And that's for about 6 months. Then they transfer it all to first fill American bourbon barrels. And then also the distillate, 80% or so is non-peated and 20% or 25% or so is peated distillate.
And just so, especially for the people who are just listening to this is High Coast.
High Coast
and
Distillery.
And the bottle is HAV.
HAV, which means sea in Swedish.
So,
not that I speak Swedish. I know you can't tell that.
Yeah. Yep, he's a Swedish.
Don't you know? But I'm super excited because, and we just popped this.
Yeah, I mean,
Swedish single malt aged in Hungarian and Swedish and American oak.
Yeah, what's going on here?
And then
bourbon
peated
for 6 months, and then 6 years in American, first fill oak.
If you guys are watching, this box is what really sold me. It has the river, the river Anger Manalvin. Okay, I nailed it. I think I nailed it. And it's really cool because it goes around the box and up to the top. I don't know. I was like, for half off, which was $49.99. Normally it's like 80 something. I think
here anyway.
Yeah, I got it for $49.99. I had to pick it up and give it a try. So, because I love it, I'm all about the American whiskey, the American single malts. So let's get some Swedish in here.
Some Swedish.
Not the Swiss. We don't like them. Sorry.
Jeez.
I have to overcorrect myself. So now we're anti-Swiss.
But they're so neutral.
They are very neutral. But
I think it's the Gulf of Bothnia or something, which is the Baltic Sea. Then it gets narrowed, and there's this whole Gulf of Bothnia. That's where
High Coast is?
Yeah, High Coast, yeah.
All right. Well, I like the name.
Let me tell you. Have you sniffed this?
Let's smell it.
Put your schnoz in there.
Yeah,
that's very...
It is that, I mean, it's unique.
Ooh.
It's unique for me in a good way.
Yeah. It's different, but I can't quite tell what it is.
It's deep floral notes.
I'm
It's
getting
kind of strange.
I'm getting some sweet candied fruit along with a little touch of pine.
Yeah. like fresh lumber.
Yeah, that's a good call on the pine. Like you
Swedish
just walked
and
into
Hungarian
a
oak,
Christmas
baby.
tree salesman's
Yeah, no,
lot.
exactly. Like you're cross country skiing or whatever, and the
Yeah.
pines are
You
sort of
getting
hitting
whipped
you.
in the face.
Exactly.
No!
Yeah.
That reminds me of the
whiskey.
whiskey.
But also I'm definitely getting some fruit notes, heavy fruit notes on there with some sweetness.
It's so weird because it smells. It's so predominantly wood on the nose, but it's so much different than when you say something smells woody. That's bourbon, for
Yeah.
instance. Like it's not the same thing at all. It's like
Got
a
the
fresh
Hungarian oak
It's-
coming in hot.
fresh lumber. But like a good,
Yeah,
like
no.
you wouldn't want to spend money on it now because it's too expensive
Yeah.
because of inflation.
Yeah.
But like that's what you'd want to make a chest of drawers out of. You know,
This ain't IKEA wood.
no, this is no IKEA wood.
Yeah.
Though
Although
Swedish.
that's Swedish
Are they really?
and the meatballs, baby.
Is that what they sell inside
Yes,
IKEA?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Swedish meatballs?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is like the third time I've stumbled onto a joke or something. It's great.
Third today.
Yeah, third today.
But wait, do they have meatballs in Switzerland?
Yeah, yeah.
no.
I'm stumbling into all of these
That's
jokes.
awesome.
So we've heard here we go. We've heard the nose. Now
Let's talk the taste.
Let's talk about this taste.
Wow.
I've heard the nose. I've seen the taste.
Ooh.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Interesting.
I could wrestle a polar bear.
Let's go. This is incredibly light. Like dances over my tongue, almost like a Anger Malavan river flowing down my mouth. Man, I'm just nailing all of
You
these.
got
Oh,
it.
the pronunciations.
Yeah, you're not even tripping up on it.
No.
That's crazy.
It's like I'm Swedish or something.
Have you been doing Duolingo?
Practicing.
Or our sponsor Babbel?
So
They're not our sponsor anymore.
so this is bringing me much more to a Speyside type Scotch, a single malt, but it is like it's taking me there, and then it just keeps going its own direction. It's very light. And the peat doesn't really. I only had one taste. The peat is not coming forward with a lot with me right now, but
No, it's such a subtle little hint.
For me, I sort of like where you're going with Speyside. I get a lot of those front end. I'm getting a lot of those delightful fruits and sweetness and honey, and then
Honey.
it sort of turns like, hey, I got a surprise for you.
Yeah.
And it's some ginger, like because there's some heat there, not alcohol, but there's some heat that might be from the wood. But my mind is taking that in as like, when you get a good pop of fresh ginger,
Yeah.
it's like, it tastes good, but there's some heat there. That's what it tastes like then on the second part of the palate for me.
I'm also, instead of it going to a buttery smoothness, which is like Old Polney or something, it's going into a more like creaminess of like vanilla on like the final palate for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know how we talk about French oak gives you
Yeah,
like
for sure.
a smoother mouth feel. I think that's in play here too, where you get some of that butteriness, but it's not a heavy. It's way less than Old Polteny 12 is with the butter.
Yeah.
But it has a little bit of that, so it's a little bit of viscosity, but then it just kind of it has that almost French oak feel to it throughout, where it's just kind of a creamier mouth feel, like you're saying. But even still, it has that weird oak note that just has to be either the Swedish or Hungarian oak that is just kind of fresh. It's like a fresh note to it.
And that for me, I think that's showing up as ginger.
Yeah, for sure. A little
I mean,
of that oak spice.
some real ginger, the root that you just grated or whatever to put in some. I'm going to be a little weird with this, but something I made the other night had some cardamom in it. And also with that ginger, then comes a little hit of cardamom, which is very pleasant.
This is the only Swedish alcohol I've ever seen. Like, I'm not super familiar with what they like. What is something that they wine that makes?
No, mead
Okay,
was
yeah.
big. But
Goddamn
then
Vikings over there.
yeah, but then I believe it's both Norway and Sweden. I think it's both aquavit
Okay.
or aquavite, which is water of life. So
Yeah.
their big distillate is kind of vodka,
Yeah.
but they call it aquavit. And sometimes they spice it with different herbs and stuff, so it's more like gin.
Okay.
Technically its own category, but it's kind of gin-like. But usually clear. Some of them you can get, and they're a little aged, so they're kind of yellowy, but it's not whiskey, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Which, totally random buy, and it is paying off.
Worth it,
especially
yeah.
the price range. I mean, I got it on
because it was
discounted
discoed
price.
for sure. It's a discoed, it's a buy every day.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if it's $80, $90 or whatever the normal price is, I still might want it because it's unique
it's
and not unique just in I'm not really liking that, and it's unique, so it's very different. I'm liking it, but it's unique.
Here's what I would say. Here's my hot take on this. If you are finding this at normal shelf price at $80, $90, whatever, if you don't have very much whiskey at home, this is not one that you
Agreed.
should be getting. There's way more bottles, both scotch, bourbon. There's a ton of stuff less expensive that you should fill out your bar first. If you have an extensive collection and you like tasting weird different stuff that's still good, you have to find this.
Yeah.
If you're in that stage of having a bar or whatever, having a collection, you should absolutely get this and try this.
This is a talking point, but
this
it
is
actually is
fun.
tasty. Yes, yeah.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be looking for more things from High Coast.
Yeah. No,
totally.
absolutely.
This is a unique. I don't even know where to I can't put my finger on a lot of this. I don't know where it goes because all this flavor profile. It is mixing so many different types of whiskeys that we've had.
And it's mixing so many things on a very subtle level.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting. It's not like, oh, we're just going to slap you in the face with a bunch of random stuff. It's
You're getting a very well put together bottle.
They knew what they were doing with this.
I'm impressed. Put this in your saddlebag of your snowmobile.
Yeah. Play with words. I did it, folks.
Didn't stumble over that one.
That was intentional. All right.
See us later.
Well, if you see this High Coast, this is something where if you're a fan of trying something new, you're a fan of Scotch, and you want to just hey, I want to see some other single malts that other places in the world are trying. Some of those Sweden people, the Swedish, where they're trying. This is great. Fantastic. I love the box. I love the presentation. Really crisp and clean. And it's just a place with really cool history, And
finally, they're known for more than their Swedish fish.
Exactly. Which I'm a big fan of Swedish fish. Thanks for bringing that up, Ryan. Because holy moly, I love them Swedish fish. I actually have to stop myself from eating them. Anyways, you like the episode because we're bringing you different stuff. We're bringing it all the way to Sweden. Okay, it's definitely not the Swiss. I know that for a fact. And you subscribe because it's not the Swiss. All right, we are American. All right, we're all against the Swiss. I'm sorry if you're Swiss watching this. Just know,
pick a side.
Just pick a side. Lukewarm is not what I want. Okay, I don't know.
No half steppers.
No half steppers. All right.
Wow.
And then, if you're Sweden, we got your back. America is there. All right, folks.